In verse 13, Ke apingeli Thamar ti nymphi avtu. It was reported to Tamar, his daughter-in-law, Legonta, saying, Idhu, behold, o pentherosu anaveni is Thamna. Your father-in-law sends to Timnah, Hire ta porovata avtu, to shear his sheep. Verse 14, Ke perielomeni ta imatiatis, and removing the garments of the Hirevsios af Iaftis, a widowhood from herself, Perievalato Theristran, she put around a white covering. The accent should be on the alpha there. We'll change that in the second edition. Ke ekalopisato, and she bedecked herself. Ke ekathise prostes piles Enan, and sat by the gates of Enain. E estin in Parodho Thamnan, which is in the byway of Timnah. Ide gar oti megas gegone silom. For she knew that Sheila was older, so now another probably 10 years have went by, so it could have been 30 years. Aftos the uk edelken aftin afto gineka, but he did not give her he did not give her to him as wife. So Thamar knows that she's not going to ever have a child by her first husband. So what does she do? Ke idon aftin Judas, and Judas, seeing her, edoksen aftin pornin ine. So she sat by there and waited for Judah. And he saw her and thought she was a pornin, a harlot. Pornography is derivative. Katakalipsa togar toprosopon aftis, for she covered up her face. Ke ukepegno aftin, and he did not recognize her. He recognized her not. Verse 16, Exa klene the pros aftin tin odon, and he turned aside to her in the odon. The dometer is a derivative, away. Ke ipen afti, said to her, Iason me selthin prose, allow me to enter to you. Ugar egno oti nymphi aftu estin, for he did not know that she is his daughter-in-law. So here he is missing his wife and goes on the road to shear these sheep, and here's a prostitute along the way, or a woman, and assumed that she was, and tried to hires her. So much for the morality of Judah, and it gets worse. Ide ipe, ti me thosis. What will you give me, she said. Ean iselthis pros me, if you should enter to me. Verse 17, O de ipen, he said, ego si apostolo erifon aigon ek ton provaton mu, I will send you a kid of the goats from out of my flocks. Ide ipen, and she said, Ean thos aravona eos tu apostile se. And she said, you should give a deposit until you send it. So, and 18, O de ipe, and he said, Tina tonara vonasi, thoso. What deposit shall I give to you? Ide ipe, and she said, Ton dactylion su, ke ton ormiskon, ke tin ravdon, tin anti herisu, your ring and the pendant and the rod in your hand. Ke edolken afti, and he gave them to her. Ke isilthe pros aftin, and he entered to her. Ke in gastri eleven ex aftu, and she conceived in the womb from him. Verse 19, Ke anastasa apilthe, and rising up, she went forth. Ke perielato to theristron aftis, And she removed the lightweight garment from herself, ke enadhisato ta imatia tis hirevsios aftis, and put on the garments of her widowhood. So goes back to her father and changes her clothes and looks like she did before. But she doesn't really, because apestile they eudis ton erifon exaigon in hieri to pimenos aftu to olodomitu. And Judah sent the kid of the goats by the hand of his shepherd, the Adulamite. Komisas the para tis ginekos ton aravona, to deliver by him to the woman the deposit. It seems strange that you hire a prostitute and you would send one of your shepherds to pay for it. I would think you would be shamed and not do that. But he did go. Ke uk evren aftin, and he did not find her. Verse 21, Epirotase they tus andros tusek tu topu, and he asked the men of the place, topu, topography being the derivative, pu estin iporni, where is the harlot? Iganomenin in anan epitis odhu, the one being in a name upon the way. Well, you'd think you'd be ashamed to even ask for a prostitute, but this is what happened. Ke ipan, and they said, uk in and tavtha porni, there's no prostitute, there's no harlot here. In verse 22, ke apostrophe pros Iudan, and he returned to Judah. Ke ipan, and said, uk evron, I did not find her. Ke ianthropi, iek tutopu, and the men, the ones of the place, say, elagusi, mi ine ode porni, there is no harlot here. Well, so he tried to make the payment, but the woman wasn't there. Ipe they Euthus, and Judah said, Ekato afta, let her have them. Al mi pote katangelastomen, but lest at any time we should be ridiculed. Egomen apestokaton erifon tuton, I indeed sent this kid. Si they uk evrikas, but you have not found her. Eureka. Archimedes supposedly has said, I found it. Verse 24. Ageneto they meta triminon. And it came to pass after 3 months. The tri is 3, and mean, a men's, menstrual, one of the derivatives for that word. Aningele to Judah came to pass. It was announced to Judah, Legontes, saying, Ek peporanevke tharmar, inimphi su. Tamar, your daughter-in-law, fornicated, so she's showing. Ke idu, and behold, in gastri echi, and she has one in the womb. Ek pornias, out of harlotry. Ipe they Judas, and Judah said, Exagagate aftin, lead her out, ke katakavthito, and let her be incinerated. So here he's doing all these horrible sins, not giving a son and going to the prostitutes, but yet when the woman is righteous, well, of course he doesn't know that yet, but when the women do something, then let her be incinerated. And this is the way it was and the way it still is in the world today with many peoples. Aftide agomeni, and while leading her, apestile proston pentheron aftis, she sent to her father-in-law, Legus, saying, Ectu anthropu utinos tavta estin, ego in gastri echo. From the man whom these things are, I have one in the womb. Ke ipen, and she said, Epignothetinos o dactylios, ke o ormiskos, ke ivavdos afti, recognize whose ring and pendant and rod these are.